Next is Tony, who's gonna talk just a little bit about the students' journey here at the final project.
Hi, for those who don't know me, my name is Tony. I joined HackYourFuture as a mentor for the Class 13's final project, the collaboration with Anna. So in the past 7 weeks, I've been coming here almost every Sunday, except for the, because of Corona, sometimes can't really come. So I've been joining online, and in these 7 weeks, I had the chance to meet pretty much almost all of the people in the Class 13. I'm not really sure because I didn't meet you, I wouldn't know, right? So it was quite a pleasure to work with such diverse, team to see how they struggle with different areas that I, after 15 years of working, consider things normal. So it was a challenge for me to kind of like give them all this knowledge I have, and I hope that some of them really, gained a lot from me, and I really enjoy the whole process. I think that the students really like progressed quite a lot in the 7 weeks, from basically starting on a project with 14 other people, and then like learning how to talk, learning how to work in, let's say, professional environment where they have to actually think about what they're doing, and there's like code review saying like, nope, this is the code you will not write. So I think that was like quite a challenge for them, and I really think they all really grew up in this process. I'm really grateful for being part of the team, and I wish all the students good luck in your next steps, because this is just the beginning. Now you know how to work, so now you have to learn for the rest of your life, I think, right? And for mentors at HackYourFuture, thank you for letting me be part of the process. And yeah, maybe we'll see each other in the future. Who knows? But good luck, everyone. Yeah.
Yes, let's get to the presentations. Yes, let's get to the presentations. Let's start with Lucy.
Hi everyone, my name is Lucy, and I have a design background. Before I hack my future, I work as a UX UI designer, and also I create some advertising and started my own application as a designer. And then I realized that the good logical extension is a HackYourFuture became a good logical extension for me, for my background. So I would like to tell a little bit more about styling and mockups now.
The other way.
It's just
if you go right.
Okay. Yes. I would like to tell about mockups and local styling a little bit. When we start building our application, we got mockups, and I would like to say that mockups is very important. It's like a law for us, it's like a rules, and it's also a protection for us, because of it we can decrease argue inside of team. We can we had less doubts about elements, where it should be, how it should work. We saw user flows. So from my perspective, it's very nice to have a good mockup, and from the first time, like from the start. I also would like to tell about global styling, and we should be very accurate about it, because global styling, all global styling has influence on whole project, on whole pages, and if we not accurate, we will have a lot of trouble, because elements are connected, and sometimes it will be not good for us. So in our project, we choose these elements like buttons, like font family, or links, like general things which are which are repeatable. So we use it not just one time and not in one page. Then what about local styling? Local styling, it's all about one element in one page. So we should put attributes to the specific element. For example, when we created a room list, we created JavaScript file, CSS, and also storybook. and it was CSS. It was just about this page and about some elements on this page, or if it's element about this element. So I would like to say that if global and local styling are mixed, we will have a lot of trouble, and it can break everything. So we will be very sorry about that, and it happened for us as well. Yes, and it's about mix of elements which will cause a lot of troubles and will affect all web application. So separate it, please, and keep distance 2 meters, for example. Yes, that was all about mockups and styling. Thank you. And yes, it was nice 10 months. It was like whole our life about coding. We were very, very happy that we had so nice mentors which were help us a lot and did great work for us. Yeah, thank you.
Aswini.
Hi, I am Ashwini. I came from India. I completed my bachelor's in chemical engineering, and after that, I worked as a software test engineer for 1.5 years. Before, I tested the apps, but now developing the apps because of HackYourFuture. And where is the page? In the middle. Here is the beautiful app we developed. Thank you so much, Anna, for giving this opportunity. And yeah, here it is. And I would like to tell about Storybook and how we used in our project. Storybook is open source tool used for developing UI components in isolated React. Using Storybook, we create components independently, and we able to view the components that have been already deployed, and we able to view the props those components used, and ability to showcase those components to the stakeholders for the feedback. And here is the basic code for writing the story. And here in our project we written like this. For example, here I written the code for like input text box where we able to send the message in the channel chart. So I created the component send message form. Here we created the files, JS file, stories, and CSS, and we written the code in those files. And here is the view in the Storybook for that component. And here in this channel, we used that component where we able to send the messages in the channel chart. And here is the fun part. There is always Tom and Jerry fight is there in between developer and bugs. And when we fixing a bugs in production, I pray to God like 1 second, oh God, nothing will happen to the functionality of the app, and no messages I will get from the team. Oh, Ashwini, what are you doing? I got this one, I got this one. Like I got warnings, I got errors like this. And what I learned from the project is teamwork. By sharing ideas with the team, I learned different ways of solving the issues in the code. I learned Storybook and how to connect front end and back end, and I learned Git. And finally, thank you so much to Daniel, Mary, Christopher, and Benjamin. And thank you so much to all the mentors for completion of this program successfully. And thank you, my dear classmates. And finally, thank you to my family. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm from Ukraine. My background is PhD in psychology, and I will talk a little bit about writing code in professional setup. I will talk a little bit about Linting. We have a link program in our project, and here you can see images that explain how work Lint and how Lint help developer missing error and don't have its error in production. So if you see this error, you have different way. If you have wrong way, if you can always disable link and don't take any attention about it. But it's wrong way because you will have this error coming and it will be not good for production. And lint always help you become more competitive developer, because you can Google always and find decision that, for example, here lint says that you cannot use on-click method to lead tag, but you can find decision. It's only add rule presentation and work and all will be work. About development, we use Heroku to deploy our app. It's very easy for beginner and for startup, and you can if you add your script built in Heroku, you can always doing update from your Visual Studio to Heroku. So it's very easy, and you can deploy and see how it looks like. Why using QPR it's so important? Because it's the same as lint. You don't have many error, many bugs if you will use PRs in your work. Also, PRs help you with collaboration, with doing good PRs, good work. It's very easy for review and for collaboration with your mentor, reviewer, and people that create that code. What I learned in this project, first, it's teamwork. It was in the beginning. It was very hard working with 15 people. It was hard for me because I'm always doing too big, doing too much, and but I learned how doing only your task, and next time take another task. Also, I learned Storybook Swagger. I like Swagger for testing. Before it, I used Postman, but in Swagger, it's very easy. But always remember that Swagger has his documentation, and you should always remember that if you will have one more space in documentation Swagger, your server will not work. So take a look at this. And a little bit fun about it was my role in project. I come and can say this not work, and sorry, but we should fix it that. Or this we have little bit problem, and we should doing that all should work. And thank you all for your attention now, and thank you HackYourFuture members, Anna for this project, and especially my classmates that doing that project will work. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Thiago. I have been living in Denmark for 4 years now. I always make the mistake. I have a background as a designer. I'm not a mathematician. And it leads me to the same as Lucy to look out for coding, and I found HackYourFuture. Now we are going to talk about creating good PR. As you saw before, PR, it's a pull request, and it's the way you communicate with your team, with your manager, or with a mentor about the work you have done. And you must do it in a good way, otherwise it's going to be a mess. The first thing that you think when you do a PR, like good naming. Pick good names that can explain what you did, so the manager won't be like Googling, searching, and wasting hours just to review things that could be done faster. good branch naming, good commit message, it will help to you to have a good PR. And PR is where you documentate the things you have done. If you include a new technology, a new library, you put it there. So the reviewer doesn't need to Google and run around after that. You explain, be pedagogical that, use the image, GIFs, text, what you think fits better. Make it small. Don't make thousands of changes in one PR, because otherwise the reviewer, you go crazy, and nobody wants to review your pull request. And if nobody review your pull request, your work, you never go to the project. And with like small pull requests, you can find errors easily. You can understand it faster, read it faster. It's good for everybody. And keep the focus. Don't use your PR to fix all the problems. You might have a lot of problems around your task, but keep the focus on the scope of what you did. And the last part is like follow-up of where is your PR in the development board. If you finish it, move it to merge it. If you have to fix it, move it back to progress. And you'll be all right in the end if you follow the steps. And thank you, everybody. It was a good pleasure.
Hi everyone, I am Afruz, I am from Iran. I have been in Denmark since 2013. I studied artificial intelligence, and in my recent job that I worked as a web support, I really find myself interested to learn about web development, and I was so lucky to accept it at the HackYourFuture, and finally after less than 1 year I could get a job as a full stack developer. Today, I want to talk about the version control that we use in the final project. Actually, we used Git and GitHub before the final project, but it was a little bit different because we worked on our task individually, and there was never conflict to work to other classmates or colleagues. So the new experience in the final project on the version control was how to manage our task. So every time that we wanted work on our PR, we tried to pull the main branch to our computer to have the latest version of the project, and then start to make our own branch and work on that, make the develop, and the most important thing that we tried to learn was to be sure that everything is working correctly before we push that, and we sure that we don't break anything. But of course, it doesn't work always to make a pull request without any problem. Sometimes we face with a conflict. When a merge conflict happens, it's the time that two comments try to have competition to be merged on the main branch. So maybe two different people are working on the same file and also same lines of the code in that file. And when they want to merge, we would face with the merge conflict. And it was a time to manually manage that and talk together, or one of the files be merged to the main branch, and find a solution to make the merge. The most important thing that I learned during this project was to make a whole overview on the whole project. I always work on a a small task, or it was not a complete complete project, but in the final project we experienced that, and we learned to make a good picture of the logic of the project, divide that to a smallest task and work on that, and go more forward on the project, and at the end how to make the relation between front end and back end. Also, one of the most important things that I learned during this project was to be more patient about solving the errors, and not just try to asking Google more, think more about how to solve that. And it was very good, because finally, I think I am confident enough to solve all the problems that I faced during the development. Teamwork was the most interesting part for me. I think it was really necessary to experience that before we start our job, because now we know how to collaborate with our colleagues. It was a very nice experience. And at the end, I want to say thank you to Hack Your Future community and all the mentors and my classmates that they always help and support me.
Hello, everyone. I'm super tense now. My name is Steven. I'm from Ghana, and I've been in Denmark for over 2 years. I have 5 years experience as a project manager and project coordinator. I love football, and biking is a new hobby I picked up when I moved to Denmark. I had no programming background when I joined HackYourFuture. And I remember when I wrote my first HTML and CSS, when I wrote my first Hello World during our HTML and CSS class, and I felt like a magician. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then we moved on to JavaScript, and I was like, what is going on? I feel a little lost. But then with guidance and help from my classmates and the mentors, I'm finally here as a graduating student of class 13. And today I'll be talking about collaboration. So to make every idea work, you need a drawing board where you plan, like have planning, discuss, and brainstorm, and communicate and cooperate, and break the goal into smaller pieces to make it achievable. And we did that using a collaboration development board, sorry. So this was how our development board looked like, where the tasks will be on the to-do side, where the task will be explained in detailed words, and we call them issues. So you'll start working on them and move it from the first part to do to progress, which means you've kickstarted your project and you started working. And then when you are done, you push it forward to ready for review. And the mentors and the managers of the projects can review the code and tell you what you have to change and what you have to work on. And after all of that is done, you push it again forward to done. We had most of our communication on Slack, where we had a stand-up. And a stand-up is where you just write what you are working on and how far you are on your project. So your colleagues will know what you are working on and the progress you've made, and if their task is in line with yours, they can always talk. You can always talk together, so you can help one another out. We had video calls on Slack mostly, and audio calls as well to help one another out. And there were times where we would just like talk for hours and hours and hours on end, and I'll just be like, okay, I think I'm just gonna bail out. And I'll just be like, it's so late, and I'll just like leave around 11 or maybe 12 a.m., which is quite late because I have to wake up early at around 5 to go to work. And mostly to my surprise, at some point I'll wake up at 5 a.m. to text messages from my colleagues like, hooray or yay, like the bug has been fixed. And I'll be like, whoa, okay, that's amazing. But then I'll just think to myself, why is this person awake now? Because we told ourselves that we were going to go to bed around like 12 a.m. or 11 a.m., which means they stayed up all night to do that, which also was very good because it shows how dedicated my teammates were. Yes. So things I learned during the project, I learned not to be scared of merge conflicts. I learned to use a storybook and like creating database tables, Node.js, Swagger, and Next.js for making API calls, and teamwork, which was very important, and how to collaborate and work with other people in the same project in a professional manner. Yes, the fun part. So this is me trying to act all smart when like we are on phone calls, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I think you have to push this here, you have to put that here on my colleague's work, and right behind me, my code will just be exploding, and I'll act like everything is all good. And then on the other side is times where we will just be like pointing fingers at one another, like, oh, the code broke, who did it? And I'll be like, oh, I think this person did it. And they'll say, no, I think you did it. You have to fix it. And we kept going back and forth like that. But then in the end, as a team, we always work together to fix that. Finally, I would like to say a big thank you to HackYourFuture, the community, to all the mentors who helped us from day one up until this point, to Zendesk and Elastic for the support throughout the study groups that they held for us, because it was very important and they helped us a lot through this this journey. And I would like to also say a big thank you to all my classmates. Cheers to you all, you've earned it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Fauzi Siddiqui and I come from India. I've been living in Denmark for the past, since 2017. My background is dentistry and I enjoy coding and baking. So today I'm going to talk about React.js. React.js is a JavaScript library used for building fast and interactive user interface for the web as well as mobile applications. React.js is the building blocks of what we are going to see today as a chatty app. So these are the main features of React.js: JSX, components, one-way data binding, virtual DOM, simplicity, and performance. Today, I'm going to elaborate on two of the most important of them. The first one is the components, and the second is virtual DOM. So what is components? All React code is made up of small entities called components. In other words, we can say React splits the user interface into small individual components. Can't find it. So basically, there are two types of React components. One is called the smart component, which is the containers, and there is the others, which is the presentational, which is the dumb component. The containers is how the things work, and the presentationals are just how it just like gives how things look like. The second most important thing about React is the virtual DOM. The virtual DOM is the lightweight copy of the actual DOM object. In other words, we can say React reacts by changing the reacts by the changes in the virtual DOM and makes these changes in the actual DOM. So here's a look and feel of the list of components and the component code in our chatty app. And this is a look and feel of the containers. The containers we have in a chatty app, and this is all the code in the chatty app, in the containers. The things I learned are Storybook. Very important is teamwork, Next.js, React Toastified, Git, GitHub, Swagger, migrations, and seedings. Some fun parts now. So this is me every night since last 7 weeks trying to go back to bed after coding. And then my brain says, hey, are you going to sleep? And I say, yes, please shut up, let me sleep. Then my brain says, oh, I think I know how to debug your program. And I'm up there again with my laptop trying to code again. And so, yeah, and all the time while I'm coding, I feel, okay, am I a programmer or am I, it's just that I'm good at Googling because I'm all the time on Google, Stack Overflow. So yeah, I'm still confused. And after 10 months of HackYourFuture, I think my code never has bugs. I only develop. But well, yeah, I develop unexpected features. And finally, sending a very huge socially distanced hug to all the mentors at HYF, all the people from ANA, all the mentors at Elastic and in the Zendesk study group, my colleagues, and last not but the least, my family. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hi. It's typical me. My name is Wael Hadid. I'm from Syria. I have been here in Denmark 5 years ago until now. I have bachelor in veterinary. So actually, I'm veterinarian in Syria, but now here I'm learning how to code. By HackYourFuture, I moved from injection to SQL injection, so it's almost the same. I would like to speak about endpoint API. It's the things when you call some information from the server and how you fetch that things and what the tools you use it for that. First, when you write something in your browser, any link or anything, it's a router where it's going to the server and invoke a controller where it's like that controller is the model where it's like fetching the data from the server and send it back again to the controller and put it inside the view where the developer write it, and that view is coming when you see the screen in front of you and all the web page is shown inside. Behind that word is like the Swagger is the way how we make the documentation for our work, because with the Swagger I can explain here what the idea about my API and what that API including, what's the important part, and what the response should be. And by this work, my colleague, they can read my documentation, I can implement that API in their work. And when you run the Swagger, it's coming in this way. You can see all methods and the road. When you click on this one, it's give you opportunity to test your API before you use it actually. I think that's all, and thanks from the bottom of my heart for all guys, Anna, and all HackYourFuture.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel Tesfai from Ethiopia. It's a country in Horn of Africa, East Africa country. I've been in Denmark for the last 6 years, and I have a background in production engineering. Yes, I studied in Sweden. And I will talk about how as a code progress through the project. And as you can see in the inspiration, just when we start the project, it was a big shift, just from working alone all to just working in a group, in a team. That's just, for example, my task will be dependent on another my group mate, and another my group mate will be dependent also on my task, and we need to talk, we need to argue on many things. Yes, and in the progress of our project, and we improved how we communicate. Just communication is very important thing in teamwork. So just we need to communicate by writing in Slack. Just post if you have questions or any issue or any recommendation or any help from our mentors or just our classmates. And also another thing is just we will update our progress, our task and development port. Just it means it will serve as an information for the task you will need next. And another communication is just we will get when we submit our task, we get to get a review, especially from our mentors and also from our group mates. And next, just in dynamics, just through in the progress, just we improve our team dynamics. We became just interdependent, and just all of us just see the targets, and we become responsible just for our task and assign ourselves a task and prioritize just what needs the project first. What I have learned from this project, just I have learned a lot of things. Just first, just new concepts like Swagger, Storybook, and very important thing also just about Git, how to manage get the merge conflicts. Just before, I work only on my own work, and I did not experience this Git problems. But when I work in this project, yes, I learned a lot about that. And most important is just about teamwork. You just have to work with in a team, and how to communicate and invest in things. And another thing will be just I learned how to write even better code in a professional way. Finally, just I would like to thank you all the community in the HackYourFuture and Anna for the experience of the project and our classmates.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying our presentation. So this is me, Deepthi, and I'm from India. I've been living here in Denmark for 3 years, and I'm graduated in Bachelor's of Electronics and Communication Engineering, where I've had a background of working as a digital marketing specialist, and I'm passionate to learn about new web features and fabric painting. So it's wide apart. And today's topic for me is Frontend Architecture, where, as my friend Fauzia said, like we used React in order to develop all this Frontend architecture. And React, we used components and containers. Components are the various parts of the user interface. For example, the sign-in button, sign-out, overview, and profile. And this in turn helps us in making components which are reusable throughout the code and making the code efficient as well. And containers are used in order to make the communication between the front-end architecture and the backend. So this communication is done through containers, and where we write the API requests in order to make a connection with the backend. So here, what I've learned is, apart from all the tools like React, databases, and Git, I've tried working on new things like the Fave icon, the Ananas, and the use of Storybook, Swagger, and Firebase, how we can actually look into the working of all these tools, and of course, working together with my lovely team members and helping each other throughout the project. And yes, here comes the fun part, where after working on all the code, I'll be literally thinking that, oh God, please help me in fixing my merge conflicts on Git, because in the beginning it used to be a nightmare for us, but later with all their support, I've enjoyed and became more confident on fixing my Git issues. And of course, this is me. After writing 10 lines of code, I'll be like, oh, I worked too much on the day and relax for the rest of the day. And sometimes it is like, oh, I don't know why my code is not working. Or after writing 10 lines of code, I'll realize I can fix this thing with 1 line of code. So all these are like new things that I've learned with this project. And here, these are the lovely people who contributed and sacrificed the Sundays for us so that we can become more like and share their knowledge on all these things. And in fact, the Zendesk and Elastic study groups whose mentors have come, like any time if we have a doubt, they are like, no problem, even after the office hours you can just write it on the chat support, we'll definitely help you guys. Thank you so much for all these people. And not the least, my team members who always supported me. I'm the one who used to wake up at night and disturb them all the way and in fixing my code bugs. And yes, of course, the family members who have supported us in all these 9 months of journey. Without you all, we wouldn't have been achieving all this. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Anna John George, and I'm from India. I've been living in Denmark for the past 2 years, and I'm a computer science engineer. But I worked as a SAP consultant, and it had nothing to do with coding. So when I moved to Denmark, I thought I'll learn coding, and HackYourFuture gave me this opportunity. And I love watching movies and exploring Copenhagen with my 2.5-year-old son. Okay, so you just heard from Deepthi. She spoke about the front-end part. So our application is written as in a model view controller architecture. So I'm going to speak about the controller part, which handles the backend. So as you see from this image, if there's no backend of an application works only if both the front end and the backend works. So in our project, we wrote our Yes. So in our project, the Node was written. Node helps us to write JavaScript in the backend in the server side, and Node and Express makes the business logic. And I can just show the folder structure. And this is how we implemented it in the form of routes. We used routes. We used controllers, and so here in the first we define the API endpoints, and that's inside the routes folder. And controllers had the business logic, which pass the request to the database and send the response back to the client. And we also used Next, the Next file, which Next actually converts JavaScript to SQL. And we also Next also gives us a migration tool, and where we could decide what tables to create with what columns. And Seeds gives us a default data for the application, test data for the application. So this is just the first we created a router object, and with the router object we used we have defined all the routes. Like if you want, we can see if you go to this endpoint, you can see the messages. If you want to see the users, we have to go to this endpoint. So we have defined collected all the routes and used the router. And a route in Express, and we also used Express. Express is the web framework that we have used. And in the first screenshot, you see the .get. So that is actually a HTTP method. So we have tried to, that helps us for create or reading or updating or deletion. So that's just an example of the HTTP method that we've used. And a route has three things. It lets us know, it helps us either get the resource or update the resource or delete the resource. And then it also gives us the path. And then there's also a callback function, which has access to the request and response object. And in this example, messages controller is the controller function. This was separate. Like we wrote the controllers in we wrote the controller functions and the routes in another folder. So it by getting the messages, it calls the controller function, which is defined inside the controllers folder, and it then sends back the response to the client. And this is just an example, like as I said earlier, like you can either use, you can create the data, you can post. So that's just the equivalent controller function that we have used over here. Where over here we have used next to get to insert into the database. So next actually uses translates JavaScript into SQL query. So it's not raw SQL, but it translates as JavaScript to SQL query, and it retrieves. Now, for example, if you want the, if we are requesting the message from the ID, messages ID, it will retrieve the resource from the database and then send it back to the response object. Yes, and this is an example of migrations. When we create a migration file, we get access to two functions where we can define what tables to use and what columns that we can create. And down function means what happens when we roll back or when we want to drop the table. And seeds, it's created in the form of a JSON object with the fields which corresponds to the column name. And this is just the default data for the application to work. So I've learned a lot of things. So from the technical aspects, I've learned Postman, Swagger, and Storybook, and uploading images, and about also Firebase because I had a task to upload images. Other than that, I also learned teamwork and like encoding best practices, like to break out problems into smaller tasks and how to think and all that. And the fun part is when I look back at my journey, at my 10 months journey at HackYourFuture, it is similar to this contest because I've used these lifelines a lot. First, if I am stuck at some issue, first I go for the audience poll. That means I compare that to like Google and then reading Stack Overflow or Medium articles or YouTube and all that. But if that does not work, then I choose Phone a Friend, and that included my lovely classmates, my teammates, and of course the Elastic and Zendesk study groups. Sometimes I used to also join as a listener because the doubts would be common. All of the doubts would be common. So, and also our mentors, like during the project, Tony and Niels and Benjamin, we used to everyone help. And I also used to, and yes, and this is also another thing where we debug and we then realize it was just a silly issue, maybe because I missed curly brace. So I have a lot of thank yous to say. First, I would like to say thank you to Benjamin, Murray, Christopher, Daniel, and the HackYourFuture community for giving me this opportunity. And I want to thank Niels and Anna for this opportunity. It's just pure coincidence or God's grace that I contributed for Anna and my classmates for all the help and support throughout, 24/7 support, and the Zendesk and Elastic mentors, and also the alumni. I've pinged a lot of alumni. I think Lucha is here. Yes, Lucha and Zoe, Soumya, Miroslava, Swati. I've pinged a lot of people, and they've all helped me, and I really thank the HackYourFuture community and all the mentors, especially who have taught us in all the modules and sharing their experiences. And of course, my family, my parents, and my husband for helping me take care of my son. And I thank God for this opportunity.
Are you there, Tariq?
Yes, Benjamin. Hi, everyone. Miss Tariq from Pakistan.
Yes,
I'm now in Pakistan.
Yes. So let's just get you on the speaker here. Listen. And is it turned off?
Hello. Hi, everyone.
We'll just get the Bluetooth speaker here going, Tariq.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Hi everyone. I'm Tariq from Pakistan. Bachelor in computer science from Pakistan and master from Sweden. So my background in telecommunication. So after that I joined HackYourFuture program. I'm living in Denmark for 10 years. Next slide, please. I'm going to explain the database architecture of the database of the Shetty. These are the tables that has been used in the Shetty app. That's the users and the channel messages and notifications table and channels and RE messages and channel members. These are tables that are used in the Shetty app. Next slide, please. This is a general overflow of interaction of the database with the Shetty application. So in the GUI, the request HTTPS to the server to fetch the data from the database, and the server fetch the database from the database and send the back to the GUI. This is a general overview of the communication. Next slide, please. What did I learn with this project? I learned a lot of things. So first I learned how to work in the team, how to work professionally, and how to build components and reuse the components in the React, and especially with the Node.js, storybook, and Swagger also. Next slide, please. But the most fun part is whenever I complete my task, so I have to push in the GitHub. Is something wrong? Yeah. I think this. So the most fun part is whenever I complete my task and I have to push in the GitHub, then I have to pass a reviewer, because sometimes the checks fail, sometimes it's a pass. So it's take a time. After that, I mean many times I fail, and after that I successful. So I enjoy a lot of this part. Next, please. Special thanks to the HackYourFuture organization and the mentors and classmates and the friends and the social media. Yeah, thank you so much for all.
Hello, everyone, online people. My name is Malik Shafi. I'm from Afghanistan. I studied sociology and worked as a filmmaker for about 20 years. And this is me. If you cannot see the head, here is here. Yeah, I live here for about 4 years. And,
Press to the right.
the right?
Yes, the right.
This one? I want to talk a little bit about diagram, clicks, migration, and seeds. I want to move quickly because my classmates they already talked about seeds and diagram. And the picture that I put here is
to the mic as well.
Yeah. It's the map of our ancestor who moved from one place to another place. You know, when let's move. Then I will explain. This is diagram of our database. Tariq also explained it a bit about that. When we start working on Chatty, we had just 4 tables, and right now we have 6 tables. And the database is a place that we can store our data. And for example, when you are sending email or image, it's go to the database and rest a little bit there, and then continue its way to your friends or some wherever you're sending those messages. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about Kinects. Kinects, as they wrote in their documentation, Kinects is a kind of, it's batteries, help developer, but it's builder who for JavaScript that we can use, for example, to join tables and to query from tables. And also about migration and seats. And this is a little bit fun for me because I never had coding background. When for the first time I heard about migration, I asked myself, what is my relationship to the migration? Maybe I am immigrant. And seats is the place that you put your data. Some migrants, for example, when I immigrated from Afghanistan 2 years, I put some important information in some papers to use it. Sometimes it's like seeds. We are putting some raw information. If we go to another place, or if you go, we work with another computer, we can use it. And I had a lot of challenge here, struggle here. For example, when first I didn't understand how to run these codes, I think all of us had this kind of error. Foreign key constraint. And I saw Zaki's video. He is here and thought maybe he says to run, for example, connects, migrate, latest like that. And I said maybe he didn't tell all things for us. Maybe he kept something for himself. Because he say the comments connects, migrate up and down, and I run, it's not working. And then I thought maybe it's to do connects left and right, forward and backward, maybe, but it doesn't work. It was also logic because we insist in CSS also we have merging left, right, like that. And then I understood there is there is a hierarchy system here. Like my country, in our country, we have a hierarchy culture. We have always elder, seniors, and parents, and sheikhs, mullahs, and if they should be first. And then I understood there is also, we have parent table and children table. The parents should be first. And this number is, then it worked. Yeah. It's in. Okay, I want to thank all entire HackYourFuture team for giving me this chance to learn coding, and especially teachers. Christopher, if he's not here. He's online? Okay. I wanted to let you know that when you interviewed me first time, I was shaking like that and blaming myself for about 1 week, why I told this one and didn't tell that one. And also I wanted to thank mentor, especially Tony. He's here. Sometimes in coding, we are giving up. There is a moment we are giving up, and we are asking, no, I'm not. I cannot do that one, and we are calling to the mentor. Do you have time for a call? Yes. Can you please say this solution for me? No. If I say to you, you cannot learn. If I say to you, you cannot learn. You can see that mountain. Yes. With 3,000 high. If you go up to the mountain and look around and come back, I may say something. Anyway, just for fun, and thank you everyone. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, it's demo time. Okay, it's demo time. We have prayed to the demo gods, me and Lucy, so hopefully they will be kind to us. So let's hide this. Okay, exciting times.
During this 10 months, we were speaking a lot about coding, and also we were speaking about communication. We were speaking that it's very important and we should improve it every time. So our product is about communication. So, yes.
Oh, I need to log in as well. With what you said.
Yes. So our product is all about communication, and I would like to present it for you. This is our login page. We have sign in and sign up. I will try to sign in. Sorry, it's too long. Here we see our overview page. Now I will try to find Benjamin. I hope. Other one. Yes. And we'll show how it works. I hope it works. Hi. This is from code.
Yes. Hi.
I am presenting our app. Is it good? This one.
Yes.
And I'm waiting.
Here. I can write it back. Say.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so I will come back and we'll see that I have our conversation in the last messages. So now we have search, we have groups, it's scrolling. And we have latest messages. Here is Benjamin. Second, my case. I would like to show how we can create a room or group. Here I can find some people For example, this one and this one looks good. We'll go to new group. We'll find an image. Yes, it should be this one. And it will be waiters group, for example. Yes, great. We have a group, and I will write them. It still works. Yes. Now we can go to the description of this group, and we can see who is here. So 3 people and our group name, and also we can come back to the overview page. The third case, it's a profile page. We have a profile page. It's mine. We can change and add picture, name. For example, I don't want to have my surname here. I can change email, not email. I can change phone and update it. So now it's like that. It works like that. Yes. And I would like to tell that we spent 7 weeks on it, and yes, we spent 7 weeks on it. Around 15 people worked, and we did it good. I hope if we compare with Facebook Messenger, there were a lot of people, hundreds of people were working it. We are better. Yes. Yes. So I believe we did good. Yes. Yes.
And you can try it out if you want to. You can go to the chatty-production.herokuapp.com and no, you actually don't have to create an account. You can go to sign in and then try some of these test users if you don't want to create an account. There are probably bugs. Play around with it and see how it works.